Okay, you've been reading some pie charts recently, so we're going to look at how you can draw them accurately and in particular calculate the angles required to draw them accurately. There are two methods that are at heart basically the same, but they do look slightly different, and you can pick which one you prefer. They both require you to remember to know one fact and work out some other key information. So first of all, here's a survey about favourite crisp flavours. And we need to find out how many people were actually in this survey. We need to have a total. So that total here is going to be just adding these up. There's no point, or there's no need to do it in your head if you don't want to. You can, but I get 48. And that's the total. Okay. You also need to remember that a full turn, because pie charts are circular, so the full way around the pie chart will be 360 degrees. So that's going to be important. So one way to work this out, or to think about this, is to think about the fact that this is 18/48 of the pie chart. And this is 13/48, this is 10/48, and this is 7/48. And then we need that fraction of 360, and that fraction of 360. These are all degrees because they're turns. And some work on a calculator can get these for you. I won't do them all because that will be tedious to watch, but you just type it in, or do it in your head, or do it properly depending how easy the fractions are. You can use pen and paper maybe. And out we get, and this is 135 degrees. Okay, there are other methods as well. I'm going to show you one of the other ways to think about this for the other two values. So the other way to think about this is about the fact that these 360 degrees that we've got need to be shared among the 48 people in the survey. And that gets us some other number we're going to need to use, which is 7.5. And that means that these 10 people each get 7.5 degrees. So this other calculation we could do for the other method is 10 times 7.5, and this one will be 7 times 7.5. Now I can do that in my head. That's a bit trickier. 52.5. Both methods get the same answer. They both have the same principle at heart. It's about sharing and fractioning and then multiplying back up. So you can think about the fraction of the total times by the turn, or you can think about how much of the turn each person is worth and multiply that by how many people in each sector. So those are the values which you can work out in two different ways. Once you've got them, we need to draw it. So I've got the values copied across to make this easier. Pie charts are circular, and because you're not in my classroom, I haven't printed out loads of circles for you. One thing that's useful to keep track of and remember is where you're going to put 0. So before I start, I'm going to draw myself a radius. I'm not going to measure it because the length doesn't matter for pie charts. I am going to try and use my grid though to make it reasonably easy to find again. So that is going to be 0 degrees up there. I don't really care how long it is as long as it fits on the page. So that's going to be the size of my circle. Pin in there, pencil at the far end. Circle round. Good start. Remember to hold the pair of compasses usually in one hand at a time, and that way you won't get a spiral, and it should always join up all the way around. So you see this hob here is where it fell out at the start, and I started again, and that then it's a complete circle. So now we've got the values, some protractor skills, some of you will be a bit rusty. We're going to start measuring from 0, and this cross here has to go at the centre, so we line that up without the reflection glaring because I've got some lights on. 135 degrees. So 0, 10, 20, 30, blah, 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 blah. 130, some little ones. That direction there is 135. We draw that in. You can join all the way to it, or you can just go to the edge of the circle. It's up to you for this thing. It won't make a huge difference. Now the step that often people get wrong or forget about is that because we've done this 135, we've already turned this far. This 97.5 comes from here, so 0 points over here now. Now 97.5 will be a bit fiddly to get in, but it's not impossible. 90 is there, 97 is 2 after, oh, off the screen. 90 is over here, 97 is just 2 after. So if that's all lined up, in between 97 and 98 will be 97.5. So that will be that way, like so. This should be 52.5. 51.2.5. And if I've done this anywhere near accurately, this gap that's left should be 75 degrees. So we'll put our 0 over there. And I've got more than 75 but less than 76. Not far off. So I've less than a degree error over 4 turns. You're allowed 2 degrees error in an exam question normally. There's a few exceptions, but that's the general rule. You don't need to label the size of the angles in here if you've got it in the working out. It's not important for the pie chart to show the angle. What is important is to label what all these things are. So this is, and give it a title, so this is a pie chart of favourite crisp flavours. So if it's not got a title, it's not don't know what it means. And this region represents salted. This region represents salt and vinegar. This region represents cheese and onion. And this region represents all the other flavours chucked together. Now, if you want to, you can put some colour in there. You could write these as a key with labels, but if they're not clear which sector means which thing, it's not a helpful pie chart. So because this sector is the widest, that means it was the one that more people preferred. It's the plurality of preferences. There you go. That's how we draw a pie chart. Enjoy.